Okay, sir, sure.
Right. So in the last session, we were discussing about the different explorers, right? Different explorers like application explorer, class explorer, rules explorer, and use by application. As we discussed in the previous session, all these explorers are going to show you the view of the different views of the rules as well as classes. Different rules as well as the different views of the rules as well as the classes, right? What are the four explorers? One is application explorer, right? Then class explorer, or we can say rules explorer. Then class explorer. Then used by application. These are the these are the four explorers, right? The first one is application explorer. The first one is application explorer. See here, now I am selecting this as application explorer. Okay. This application explorer will show you the rules that are created to build this active application. Okay. The application explorer will show you the view of the rules that are created this active application. In this case, what is the active application? Pega rules. In some other case, it may be your own application. Your own application. To build that active application, whatever the rules that are created by the user, only user defined rules, not predefined rules. Only the user defined rules that are created to build the active application, those rules can be seen under which explorer? Application explorer, right? Application explorer show view of the rules created by the user to build active application, right? Okay, only the rules, user defined rules, not predefined rules. What is the next one? Here in this case, rules explorer. The next one is the rules explorer. Here the rules explorer will show you the view of both user defined as well as all predefined rules. Here in the application explorer, application specific rules active application specific rules. If it is the rules explorer, application specific as well as predefined rules. Means both user defined and predefined rules can be seen in where? In the rules explorer. User defined rules and predefined rules. All the rules you can see under which explorer? Rules explorer. Then class explorer. What is a rule? This is the rules explorer. It will show you the rules, all the rules, both user defined and predefined. How it will show you the rules, that we'll discuss, right? Now class explorer. So what is a rule?
Rule is an instance of a class.
Rule is an instance of a class, right? So here, if you can see all the predefined as well as user defined classes, means you can see the Pega provided classes as well as the classes that are going to be created by the user, right? Here, user defined classes and predefined classes. All the classes you can see under which explorer? Class explorer, right? Next, used by application. Now here in the rules explorer we are saying that it is going to show you the view of all the rules, both user defined as well as predefined. In the class explorer, both user defined classes as well as predefined classes. Here used by application will show you the view of both rules as well as classes. It will show you the view of both rules as well as classes. But what is the difference between this rules explorer and the rules that are showing under used by application is, in the used by application explorer also it will show you the user defined rules. User defined rules that are created to build that application, right? Created to build active application, right? Next is, it also shows the predefined rules, but the difference here it is, it won't show you all the predefined rules. Predefined rules used by this application. Let's say I have 1000 predefined rules. Among them, to build my application, I want to use only the 50 predefined rules. Only those predefined rules you are going to see under which explorer? Used by applications. Predefined rules used or referenced by an application. Right? Next, classes. It will show you the user defined classes created to build that application, active application, right? Then predefined classes used or referenced by that application. Right? That's the difference between the application explorer, rules explorer, class explorer, and used by application, right? So used by application will show you the rules that are being referenced by that application as well as the rules that are created by the user. And the use by application will also show you the classes. Those are created by the user to build that active application, and those are being referenced by the application. Those are predefined from the predefined classes. Any questions on this? Sagar, Syed, Vidya? Any version, irrespective of the version.
Suspicious item has been detected. Suspicious item has been detected.
Hello? Hello? Vidya?
Hello?
Yes, Syed.
Hello? Nothing, sir.
Yeah, Vidya, what's your question?
No, sir. No questions.
Right. Okay, this is about these 4 explorers. Now we will discuss more about the rules explorer. Because in the application explorer we are seeing the rules like this. Then we are going to use this rules explorer frequently to create any rule in the PRPC. That's why we will discuss more about this rules explorer. Among these 4 explorers, application, class, rules, and used by application, among these 4 explorers, the frequently used explorers are application and the rules explorer. Now here we are saying that rules explorer will show you the view of both user defined and predefined rules. Then how those rules will be displayed or how those rules can be viewed by the user means, so whatever the rules that we are going to create to build the application, the rules are categorized or the rules are segregated or divided into different rule categories. Okay, so let's say if I want to create a variable in PRPC, so for that rule should be created using a rule category called data model. Why? Because using that variables we are going to deal with the data, right? Whatever the data that is entered by the user, we are going to store the data in a variable, right? Let's say if I want to evaluate a condition, or conditions means the decisions, right? So those type of rules can be created using a rule category called this. Let's say if I want to build an UI form, for that I can use user interface. Let's say if I want to create a flow, workflow or the process, that can be created by using the process. So based on the requirement or based on the usage, the rules are categorized into different rule categories. If you select it as rules explorer, then all the rules will be shown in the form of rule categories. Rule categories. These are all the different rule categories like data model, process decision, up to application definition. These are all different rule categories. Every rule category consists the different rule types. Every rule category consists the different rule types. See here, what is the rule category here? Data model. When you expand this, it is going to show you some rule types. Property is one rule type, edit input is one rule type, like this. When you click on this expand, this one process, flow rule type, right? Case type, correspondence, right? Skill level. These are all the different rule types. Those are belongs to which rule category? Process rule category. So you need to remember that when you select the rules explorer, it will show you, it cannot show you all the rules in a single stretch. Let's say there might be thousands of rules. When you select the rules explorer, it cannot show you all the thousands of rules in a single stretch or in a single window or in a page by page. Right? So instead of showing that, what the PRPC people they have done means they have divided the rules into different rule categories. So every rule category, according to the usage, they have placed some rules under that rule category. Those rules can be called as rule types. rule types. So that you need to remember that the rules explorer will show you the different rules, means both user defined rules and the predefined rules in the form of rule categories, right? Based on the usage of the rule, based on the usage of the rules are categorized into different rule categories. Every rule category consists different rule types. Every rule category consists different rule types. So if you want to create a new rule of that type, so that you can choose which rule of which type you would like to create. So when you select this property as the rule type, then it allows us to see the all property rules, means both user defined property rules as well as predefined property rules. It also allows us to create the new rule of which type? Property type. When you click on this, when you directly click on this property rule type, it will show you all the rule properties, property rules. See here, these are all only property rules. Let's say if I select process, if I click on flow, it will show you only the flow rules. It will show you only the flow rules, right? Let's say if you click on this any rule, it opens that rule, how that rule is created. How that rule is created. Still it is opening. This is the flow rule, right? It's a flow diagram, right? Next, let's say if you want to see the users, all the operators, means in the PRPC the users are going to be called as operators. How many operator IDs are there? How many user names are there? If I click on that, it will show you only the user names. So when you select any rule type, when you click on that directly, then it will show you the rules of that type, right? Is it useful or not? So instead of showing all the rules in a single stretch, so the rules are divided into different rule categories. Every rule category is going to have the different rule types. Those are related to that rule category. Those are related to that rule category, right? Okay. Now here rules explorer, right? So all the rules will be shown in the form of what? The form of rule categories, right? Need to remember that every rule category consists different rule types. Different rule types. When user select the rule type hidden, what is going to be the hidden means the rule type is nothing but it's a class only. Okay, don't confuse with that. When you select the rule type, it shows the instances. It shows the instances of that rule type, okay, and it shows the instances of that rule type, right? Okay, Sagar, Syed and Vidya, you are able to follow, right?
Yes.
Syed,
Yes, sir, I'm able to follow it.
right. Sagar,
Yes, sir. I'm
right.
able to.
Right. Now you can mute, right? So if you have any question, you can unmute and just ask, right? No problem. So This rules explorer is going to show you the view of the rules in the form of rule categories. Every rule category consists different rule types. So when you select any rule type, then it will show you the instances. Yes. Yes, Vidya.
Sir, on screen, can we distinguish what are system-defined rules and
You cannot
user
segregate
defined?
like that. You cannot, based on the, you need to see by whom it is created, when it is created, based on that you can identify.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You need to see created, right?
So on seeing that, we can know.
No, we cannot identify which rule is created by whom like this. So you can identify which rule is created by whom, but we cannot identify whether it is a predefined or user defined, right?
Okay.
Okay, by the author or the creator of that name we cannot find it.
We can identify. We can identify.
So how it look when it is a predefined rule? How it shows by creator
The rules are same only. There is
under what name?
if it comes to appearance, there is no difference between the user defined and predefined rule. We cannot identify like that, right? So based on the created by whom and the date, right? Based on the value it contains, right? Let's say you have given A for your rule. There might be some starts with A, right? You can see here operator ID contains, right? You can search by A, then it will show you all the rules starts with A, right? Then if you want to search by the operator, you can also search. You can also, if you want to sort by an operator or the rule set or anything, you can also do that. No need to confuse anything with this, right?
So the
Yes.
okay. So the predefined rules are come along with this software release pack.
Yes,
Something like
yes, yes. So when the PRPC is installed, it will show you only the predefined rules. So if see, when it is installed, there won't be any user defined rules, right? You are going to
sure.
only
Yeah,
the predefined rules that comes along with the PRPC software, right? Sagar,
Okay.
right. Next.
Yes, sir. Done.
Now, of same type we cannot create. We can have the same rule name for the different rule types. We cannot have the same rule name for the same rule type. It won't allow. It's similar to an instance that we are going to create in Java. Say class A is there. A1 equals to new A. Is this the way of creating new instance in Java, right? Now, can I create the one more instance with the same name? With A1? Similar. For the same class, we cannot create the two instances with the same name. Right?
Okay. Here the class is A1.
Here the instance is A1. Right? The
Yeah.
class
Instance
is
A1.
A. Right?
Okay.
Please try to go through those OOPS concepts. Okay?
Yes. Yes, I have gone through. Okay.
Right. No problem. Now we'll see how to create our first rule in the PRPC. Right? Now in the PRPC we logged in as an administrator. So if I want to have my own user account, who is going to create that? We need to create that user account by logged in into the PRPC as an administrator. Right? So if you want to create any rule in the PRPC, first we need to go to which explorer? Rules Explorer. To create any rule in the PRPC, first we need to go to Rules Explorer. So based on the type of the rule you would like to create, you need to choose the corresponding rule category. Okay? What the Rules Explorer is going to show you? The rule categories, right? So based on your requirement, or based on the type of the rule you would like to create, you need to choose the corresponding rule category. You need to choose the corresponding rule category. Once you choose the corresponding rule category, under that rule category we are going to have the different rule types. Then you need to identify the rule type which your requirement matches, which is going to match with your requirement, right? So if you want to create any rule, first you need to go to Rules Explorer, then identify the rule category, then identify the rule type, right? Now we'll see that. To create any rule, right? You need to select which explorer? Rules Explorer, right? Under the Rules Explorer, then select appropriate rule category, right? Then select appropriate rule type, right? Then just right click on rule type, right click on rule type, then from the right click menu select new, which allows us to create new rule of selected rule type. Antena? Right? Selected rule type. Right? Okay. Now, so you are able to follow these steps, right? So to create any rule, first we need to go to Rules Explorer. Under the Rules Explorer, select the appropriate rule category as per your requirement. Under that, select the appropriate rule type which matches your requirement. Then right click on that rule type. Then from the right click menu, select the new, which allows us to create the new rule of the selected rule type. Now I would like to create a user account by logged in as an administrator. So in the PRPC, the user who is connected to the PRPC, that user is going to be called as operator. The user who is connected to the PRPC, that user is going to be called as operator. Every operator is going to have a unique ID which is associating with him. That ID is called as operator ID. Operator ID is nothing but the username, right? In PRPC, a user is going to be called as operator. Username is going to be called as operator ID. Simple, right? Sagar, Sayed, and Vidya. You are able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are able to follow.
Right.
And the administrator will create an account for the I think operator.
Right,
Is it
right. We logged in as administrator only, right? Here, in this case, we logged in as administrator. Now we'll try to create a user account from the administrator, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I would like to create, so to have our own username, then you need to create a rule called operator ID. To have our user account, you need to create a rule called operator ID. Means in the PRPC, everything is a rule. Everything is a rule. If you want to create a user account, then for that also you need to create a rule. If it is a rule, means definitely it should instance of some class and it should belongs to some rule category, right? If you want to create an operator ID rule, first we will see what is an operator, right? Operator is a user who is connected to PRPC, right? The username or operator ID is the username, right? In PRPC, operator ID is also a rule. Operator ID is also a rule. Right? If it is a rule, definitely it should be instance of some class. If it is a rule, definitely it should be instance of some class. If you want to create that rule, then we need to go to which explorer? Rules explorer. Right? Go to or select rules explorer. Then in the rules explorer, we need to choose what? The rule category. To create the operator ID rules, you need to select the rule category as what? Organization. Select the rule category as organization. Under that, we need to select the rule type. Under that, we need to select the rule type. Select the rule type as operator ID. Under the organization, so there are several rule types. There are several rule types. From those, we need to select the rule type as operator ID. So after selecting the rule type, what we need to do to create a new rule? Right click on this. If you directly click on this, what will show you? It will show you the operator ID rules, all the rules. For that, if you right click on it, select new. Then we are saying it's a rule. If it is a rule, definitely it should be instance of some class. In other words, you can remember that every rule type is associating with a class. Every rule type is associating with a class. To see that class, by right click, then select the definition. Select the definition. Then it will show you the class that is associating with this rule type. What is the class? Data hyphen admin hyphen operator hyphen ID. See here, rule type is nothing but the class only. See the description what they have given, what it is displaying here. So instead of writing such a lengthy class names, they have followed this approach and they are calling this class description as rule type. So you need to remember that every rule type is associating with some class. We are creating right click new means nothing but we are trying to create the new instance for this class. Right? So any question?
So the read-only symbol is used for the class.
Right.
So what does it mean?
What is the meaning of read only in general?
We cannot modify it.
That's
Just
simple.
you can.
These are all predefined classes, right? It won't allow us to modify. You can customize it, but you cannot modify it. Okay?
Mm.
If you modify it, we are not sure that the Pega is going to work properly or not. Right, India?
Okay. Okay.
We will see that also. How to make the rules that are going to be created by us also. How to make them as read-only. We can also see that. Right? When the rule is in checked in status, it will show you in general read-only. Right? Yeah. Please mute your mic or something. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
What's your question? Which one? This one. Right? For every rule category, the first rule will be like this. There is no much significance of that. Right? Every rule category, see this, the first rule. Right? Yeah. Now, so operator ID rules are the instances of which class? Data hyphen admin hyphen operator hyphen ID. Right? Now, sorry, data hyphen admin hyphen operator hyphen ID. Right? Then what we need to do here, just right click on this to create the new instance, right? Right click, then select new, right? When you select new, organization, rule type is operator ID, right click new. The new instance dialog box will be appear. Not only for this rule, any rule. For any rule type, after right clicking on that rule type, if you select the new instance dialog box will be appeared. Not only for this rule, any rule which will allow us to specify some mandatory parameters before creating the rule, or which will allow us to specify the name of the rule, See here what it is showing, operator ID new. So what is the operator ID you would like to have? This operator ID is going to act as your username. The username can have the spaces. Huh? A, B, C, D. See here. Right? In general, it should not have the spaces. It's always try to create an operator without any spaces. Right? Now see here, I'm trying to click on this one. Let's say training operator 5. Click on create. Right? This is what we can call this new instance dialog box. This is called as new instance dialog box. Then click on create. Already exist. 6. This is already exist. Oh, yes, that. Training OP11. Okay. So once you click on create in the new instance dialog box, it opens one UI form. This UI form is going to be called as rule form. Right? You need to remember this sequence. After selecting the rule category, you need to select the rule type. Once you select the rule type, you need to right click on it, select the new. Once you select the new, it opens the new instance dialog box. There specify the values for the required parameters. After that, you need to click on create. Once you click on create, it opens the rule form. Which rule we are trying to create now? Operator ID rule, so that it can be called as operator ID rule form. If you are trying to create some other rule, let's say flow rule form. If you are trying to create decision rule form like that. So you need to remember that once you click on create in the new instance dialog box, it opens what? The rule form. It can be called as what? Rule form. Right? So since we are trying to create operator ID rule, so that it can be called as operator ID rule form. So this rule form consists some buttons, controls, right? This is new, save as, delete, favorites, right? Then rule data, right? Then this is related rules, then rule availability. These are the controls provided by the rule form, which can be used by the developers, right? Now see here, under that every rule form is going to consist of different tabs. Here some of the tabs, right? See, general tab, work settings tab, associations tab, advanced tab, and history. This history is the common tab for any rule. But these tabs are going to be varied based on the rule that you are trying to create. Right? Every rule form consists of different tabs based on the type of the rule, except which tab is common? history is the common tab for all the rules. So these tabs allows us to specify some parameters to successfully create a rule. The rule is not yet created. The rule is not yet created. See here on the top what it is displaying? Still it is displaying new operator ID. When it is going to show you your operator ID in the place of new operator ID means once the rule is created successfully. To successfully create a rule after specifying the values for all the parameters, you need to click on save. You need to click on save. So without specifying the values for the mandatory parameters, it won't allow us to create the rule successfully. Or you can think otherwise it won't allow us to save the rule successfully. When you are trying to save the rule, it will verify or validate whether you have given the values for the required parameters appropriate values. If the value is in invalid format, then it will show you some error message. Right? Now here first there are some tabs for the operator ID rule form. General tab, work settings tab, associations tab, advanced tab and history tab. In the general tab of the operator ID rule form, the only mandatory parameter that is what? Full name. I'll try to give the full name. Training operator level. Where this full name will be displayed? Here. Once you logged in into the PRPC with this username, it is going to display the full name in the place of administrator. Then in the general tab of the operator ID rule form, you can also specify the access group, but it's not mandatory. You need to remember that in the general tab of the rule form, you also need to specify the access group. As of now, we can leave it blank, but where we can specify the access group means which tab? In the general tab of the operator. You need to remember that. We don't know. As of now, we don't know. We'll discuss it. Right? So access group is used to give the access to a specific application. So we'll discuss more about that. As of now, you can remember that in the general tab along with the full name, we can also specify the access group. But it's not mandatory. That's why we are trying to leave it as a blank as of now. Right? The next thing is work settings tab. The next tab is work settings tab. In the work settings tab, it will ask you to specify the so many parameters. Among them, the mandatory is the organization unit. So if you are creating an operator, in the PRPC, you need to specify the organization structure for that operator. Means to which organization this operator belongs to. If it is the organization, it is going to have some structure. So PRPC maintains the organization structure in 3 levels. One is organization. An organization can have n number of divisions, and each division can have n number of units. Right? So in the rule form, right? In the rule tab, what are the parameters we need to specify? Full name, right? Then access group. Then which tab? Work settings, right? What are the parameters you need to specify? Organization unit, right? So the organization structure that is maintained by the PRPC, it will be in 3 levels. One is organization, the top one, right? Under that we can have multiple divisions. Under that we can have multiple units, right? So let's say if you choose the organization as HSBC, right? HSBC is the organization to whom you would like to build an application. HSBC is going to have some divisions or not? Let's say Asia Pacific division, Europe division, right? Like that. Each division can have a number of units or not? Indian unit, right? Chinese unit, Lankan unit like this. Once again, a unit have multiple units under it. India, we can have the unit as AP, right? South India, North. Under that units can like this, right? But majorly PRPC maintains the organization structure in 3 levels. When you are trying to create an operator ID, you need to specify to which organization unit that operator is belongs. If you want to specify the unit, on top of it, what we need to know? Division. On top of it, organization. So when the PRPC is installed, by default it consists only one organization. So to specify that organization unit, you need to click on this change organization unit button. You need to click on that change organization unit button, which will show you the list of the organizations. But these are all the organizations created by us. In the coming sessions, we will see how to create organization like this. But when the PRPC is installed, it consists only one organization as the default organization, that is pega.com. Under that, the division, right? What is the division here? Administration. Under that, unit. What is the unit here? Installation, right? So here, the organization is what? Pega.com, right? Under that, the division is what? Administration, right? Installation. It is called what? So it is asking us to specify what? Organization unit, right? Organization.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Sir, I cannot hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me right now?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Right. So you need to select this installation as the unit. Once you select it, see here, it is going to show you the organizational structure like this. Pega.com/administration/installation. Pega.com is what? Organization/division/unit. This is the only parameter you need to specify. We'll also use all these parameters, not now, right? So as of now, you need to remember that in the work settings tab, what we need to specify? The organization unit. Once you specify the organization unit, one is disappearing. What? That button. Change organization unit button is disappearing. Why? Because the organization is already selected, right? Okay. Now, the next nothing to do with the associations tab, right? The next tab that we need to select here it is called allow rule checkout. Which tab? In the advanced tab. You need to select a checkbox called What is the checkbox? Allow, rule, checkout. What is the meaning of this? There itself the meaning is there. Allow, rule, checkout. What could be the meaning of this? This particular operator will be
Same.
allowed to check out the rules, means to modify the rules. If this checkbox is not selected, Sagar,
Yes, sir.
please mute, please.
Uh,
If this checkbox is not selected, then this operator can only view the rules. He cannot modify the rules. Right? To give the authorization to modify the rules, then this checkbox must be selected in which tab? You need to remember these tabs also. In which tab you need to select the which one. Right? So in the advanced tab you need to select a checkbox called allow rule checkout. Then this operator will be allowed to check out the rules that we are going to create. Now history. In the history we are going to have description and the usage. Sorry. By default they have given some usage and the description. Right? Okay. If you want you can change it, or else you can leave it like that. Now you have specified all the required parameters in all the tabs. In the general tab, full name. In the work settings tab, organization unit. In the advanced tab, allow rule checkout. Now we can save the rule. See, on the new, in the place of new operator ID, now it is showing. No problem. So that now we can log out and log in with our operator ID. We have the operator ID, means username, but you need to know password. The default password for all the operators is rules, except administrator. For the administrator, what is the password? Install. For the administrator, the password is installed. Except administrator, for the remaining all users, the default password is what? Rules. What is the operator ID? OP11. What is the password? Rules. If you want, we can change it. Now we'll see how to change the password. See here. Right? Now, if you want to change the password, see here, you can click on the down arrow. You can see that operator record, and it opens that operator rule form, how this operator is created, right? Now you can go to this advanced, change password. When you click on this change password, it will allow us to specify the new password. So this is the way to create a first rule, which is nothing but the operator ID rule in PRPC. Any questions on this? First we'll start with Syed.
If I'm looking to change,
Syed.
if I'm looking to change the name of the company, all right, like training operator 11 it is, I want to change the name to training operator 12. I need to follow the same process, is it, or any other way?
This rule name, you would like to replace the rule name?
Yes, I would.
Or you would like to create the new?
Yes. No, I would like to replace it. Change it.
Replace it, it won't allow us to replace.
Once it is set, it is
right.
for a life.
That rule is created, whether you would like to create a new rule or delete this rule by creating on this.
Okay.
By
There is no
clicking on this.
replacement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other? You can change the full name, but whatever the display name, you can change it. This one.
Okay, here we can change it. On the full name, we can go and change that,
Right.
edit it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now see, if I'm, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Syed. Now if you log out and log in, training OP11, right? Okay?
Okay, sir.
Right. Any other questions, Syed?
No, sir.
Right. Next, Sagar.
No, sir.
Right. Vidya.
No, sir.
Mister Vinay. Right now we didn't give any previous. Simply we have given the operator ID. Right? So to which what he can do, that we didn't mention. Right? Simply we have created. By default he is going to have all the rights. But we can restrict them. How to restrict them, that we'll see. That comes under the security. That comes under the security. Okay? Try to practice this. How to create an operator ID. Nula. Did you get, okay. Try to how to create an operator ID, right? So I think Syed and Sagar, you two people are having the software, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Please practice it.
So what is the default? Yeah. What is the default password for the operator is rules.
Rules, default password. I will type it. Lowercase. Okay. I will also share this document. If possible, I will also share some navigation document, how to shift between the screens. Right? Okay. Vidya, no questions, right? Vinay, no. So try to practice this. Okay. Try to practice everyday session on the same day itself, right? Don't keep all the sessions to practice it on single day, right? Now we'll stop the session here and we'll continue it tomorrow, right?
Sir, yesterday the attachment what I received, your video, the audio, was we are not able to play it. Means
Yeah,
myself and
that's
Sagar tried.
yeah, I'm checking it. Okay, I think it has
Okay.
stored in a different format, right? So I'll check
Yes,
it
sir.
and I'll say if not, I'll try to send it once again, right? If you're not
Okay,
able
sir.
to.
Sir, is it possible to get a video recording or something?
It's